rocking. Here's Doku now midway inside the West Ham half. On the left hand side, Guardiola, what a season he has had here at the Etihad, the Croatian. Rodri, the unbeaten man, apart from Scotland of course, can't forget that, Scotland fans. Here's Rodri, now De Bruyne midway inside the West Ham half to Bernardo Silva on the right hand touchline. Back to De Bruyne and back in field to Walker midway inside the West Ham half. I get the feeling that this is going to be where much of this game is going to be played today. Now in it comes looking for Cresswell and, I was looking for Haaland, just saying. Cresswell just palmed it back to the goalkeeper. My goodness, what a start to this game. Phil Foden, if you're just joining us, less than 90 seconds into this game, this title decider for Manchester City, has given them the lead with a screamer from outside of the box. Pep Guardiola stands arms folded. I'm going to keep you abreast of all the games, particularly that one at the Emirates. It's still 0-0. I wonder will the word have filtered through to the Emirates Stadium about that goal. Huge credit must go to Arsenal this year. They have pushed Manchester City quite literally all the way to the very last game of the season. But Manchester City are hungry for title number 4. Here's Bernardo Silva onto his left foot, right hand corner of the penalty area again, has Walker with him. Goes in field to De Bruyne, there's Foden again, the edge of the box, slightly further back where he hit that screamer. He's pushed back with Soucek. Now Rodri, De Bruyne, back to Foden, now about 30 yards from goal here, Manchester City. Here's Guardiola, left hand side now to De Bruyne, back to Guardiola. Now Rodri, shirt tucked in as always, De Bruyne. Path blocked by Soucek. Rodri goes down under challenge from Kudus on the left hand touchline. Nothing given, no through West Ham. It's the first time that Hammers have had the ball all day. Here's Paquetá, a man being linked with a move to the Etihad. Will that happen this summer? Is he playing his last game for West Ham as well? 1-2 with Emerson. Now Paquetá, lovely footwork. Emerson back to Paquetá again. The two of them trying to keep it, but it's intercepted. De Bruyne into the centre circle. Doku midway inside the West Ham half now. If he's come centrally, Guardiola trotting forward outside him. Loads of room for the Croatian out there. Now he's followed up by Chofan. It's going to come to De Bruyne to hit one. Saved by Areola. Comes all the way out to Bernardo Silva, who beats Emerson to the loose ball and then brings it back to Walker, now 30 yards from goal. Foden again trying to get away from Ward-Prowse. When the players go into that sunshine, you can barely see who has the ball. It's so bright. Now here's Rodri, left corner of the penalty area again for Doku. Doku now taking on Chofan and Soucek, the two Czech players for West Ham, two of the most reliable players under David Moyes. Now here's Guardiola, left corner of the penalty area. Foden again, he jinks to go into the box. He is in the box now. He rolls it back to the edge of the box for Walker, who nearly loses out to Paquetá, but now it's out here with Bernardo Silva, right hand corner of the penalty area for him. He goes into the box now. Walker in the right hand corner. Back to De Bruyne, right hand corner of the penalty area. Pass. They're just passing him into submission. Now here's Guardiola. Foden on the edge of the tee. Back to Josko Guardiola, looking for Doku. Well read by Chofal, and now Soucek will try and come away. But it's won back again by Guardiola. Now Doku challenging in the corner with Soucek, who does get it clear down the right hand touchline. But West Ham, 8 minutes in, have not had time to breathe here. It's Manchester City 1, West Ham 0 already. Rodri to De Bruyne. City want this done and done early. Walker to Rodri. He clips it out to the right hand side for Bernardo Silva, who's out there in the shade. 1-2 with De Bruyne. Now Walker midfield. Rodri in the middle of the West Ham half, out into the sunshine again for Foden. Doku left hand corner of the box, faced up by Vladimir Chofal. Doku's into the box, he's so tricky, tries to get it across there, but claret and blue shirts get in the way. It's back with Foden. Doku. Chofal is there with him and he comes away with it well. This place is rocking. 86% possession for Manchester City, and they win it back again. Akanji, haven't even mentioned him because West Ham haven't even had a foray in Manchester City half. Walker now in the middle of the West Ham half. There's Akanji now in the centre circle. City with the ball all the way back inside their own half now, but are going to build again from the back. Here's Ruben Diaz now. He decides he wants involved in things and plays a nice through ball to Guardiola. Mavropanos comes over there and down the ground goes Guardiola, and the Greek international is penalised. It's a free kick to Manchester City. Referee John Brooks today. We got a chance to mention that. What a start to this game already for Manchester City. Free kick now on their left hand side, right in the corner of the box. Foden runs over the top. De Bruyne whips it in, punched away by Areola. They'll go out for a throw in midway inside the West Ham half. We hit the 10-minute mark here at the Etihad Stadium. You're listening to Flash Score UK, unofficial Premier League commentary. The last day of the season, Manchester City 1, West Ham United 0. Manchester City, as it stands, are winning the title. There's a lot of different permutations today. Arsenal come in 2 points behind, but with a better goal difference by 1. So that meant even if the two finished on level in points, chances are Arsenal could end up winning a league on goal difference. The only other team to ever do that, Manchester City, 2012. That Aguero goal. That's the only time the Premier League has ever been decided on goal difference. Now, ball out to the right hand side for Bernardo Silva, who skips over a very weak challenge there by Emerson. Scoops it back in, but the Italian international Emerson recovers well, but then runs into Rodri, and Manchester City have it back. Midway inside the West Ham half with Rodri. Foden finds space for Akanji now, comes into the sunshine, strides forward around 30 yards from goal. Foden loses out. Mikel Antonio, but he has no support with him, but good strong play from the Jamaican forward, who very bravely spoke to the media recently about his mental health struggles. Let's hope that helps plenty of others out there, and that Mikel Antonio himself is doing a lot better now. Looking at this goal again, just one of those goals that you will see forever and ever. A screamer, 90 seconds in to the final day of a title decider, and Phil Foden with just a stunning goal that, regardless if Manchester City go and score 5 or 6 today, as I'm not suggesting they do, West Ham of course will not just go lie down like that, but no matter what the score is today, that's the goal. If Manchester City are to win the title, that's the one that we are going to see over and over again. Now here's Ruben Diaz in the centre circle for Manchester City. 1-2 with Foden, that right wrist and hand bandaged up as normal, as is becoming his trademark effectively. Here's Akanji now under pressure from Antonio, but he gets it back to Diaz, who plays a unusually poor pass there down the left looking for Guardiola, but it's a throw into West Ham in line with the edge of their 18-yard box. It's a warm day in Manchester. Not often you get to say that, but it's the final day of the season in May. That's that far side. The pitch basically split horizontally down the middle, or vertically down the middle should I say, into shade and sunshine. West Ham now coming down through the shade. Emerson has run right through the middle of the Manchester City defence. Oh, he nearly didn't take the ball with him, but he's still up there. Right hand corner of the penalty area is Chufal. Delivers in for Antonio, away by Kyle Walker. Ham's French stopper, but a good save to tip it over the bar, and it's a corner. For West Ham, their bench today: Fabianski, Ben Johnson, Maxwell Cornet, Danny Ings, Edson Alvarez, Angelo Ogbonna, George Earthy. He got his first West Ham appearance and goal last week against Luton. Keelan Casey and Divin Mobama. Short corner taken between Foden and Doku. Makes it to De Bruyne on the edge of the D here. No space for a shot though, so he'll play it out left. And a couple of players go to ground there. Nothing given though by John Brooks. Ball deflected off at Chofan, reached by Bernardo Silva in the corner. Akanji. Rodri on the edge of the box, clips one into the back post. Doku is there on the right hand side, right at the byline, cuts infield on his left foot, hits one. Areola, another good save, this time in his near post. And Kudus and Doku are into the corner together there with that one. I'm not quite sure who that one's come off last, but a good save by Alphonse Areola in the West Ham United goal. Doku again getting another shot away. He is peppering Areola today. It's going to be a Manchester City through. The last touch came off Mohamed Kudus. No, I'm wrong. It's Ryan Cresswell has ball in hand now. I think City really were just... Areola takes the goal kick short to Zuma and then gets it back. The two Frenchmen. Areola plays it forward, but Rodri wins it off of Mohamed Kudus. And Chofal going down the right touchline, but he overruns it, and that's a throw in to Manchester City midway inside their own half on the right hand side, which Guardiola will take back to Ruben Diaz on the edge of his own box, takes it on his chest and then rolls it to Kyle Walker. Now Rodri in the sunshine midway inside his own half, forward to Guardiola. Let's go Guardiola, the Haaland, now Doku, left hand corner of the penalty area here for Jeremy Doku. Foden is coming forward and he swipes it in for Phil Foden for 2. It's Foden again. Phil Foden has swept home Manchester City's second goal of the afternoon, and any nerves that were in this crowd or the players here at the Etihad have well disappeared now. Phil Foden with a wonderful finish again. His first one was a screamer. This one, he takes it and sweeps it into the corner, and Phil Foden is single-handedly taking this Manchester City team to a 4th title in a row. 18 minutes gone. It's Manchester City 2, West Ham United 0. It's Phil Foden 2, West Ham United 0. What a virtuoso performance. This is a player of supreme talent, and the big players step up in the big moments, and my goodness me, has the local lad from Stockport, has he really stepped up. It's lovely work actually from Jeremy Doku, and that's what Phil Foden, I think, is just pointing at him there to make sure he gets the credit. Good build-up play between Haaland and Doku plays it along the edge of the box, and Foden just sweeps it home. First time, left-footed across his body into the far corner. Areola, absolutely no chance. The fans behind the goal were celebrating before the ball even hit the net. And before 20 minutes has been played here at the Etihad, it is Manchester City 2, West Ham United 0. And well, it is going to take a lot for this title not to be back in the blue half of Manchester after this today. What a performance so far from Pep Guardiola's men, and what a performance from Phil Foden, just dispelling any sniff that there might be some drama left in this one this season. Elsewhere, what to do. Everyone always says, they pick up their performance in this time of year. I'm not even sure that's true, because they are just scintillating to watch all year long. So 22 unbeaten, 8 wins in a row. They are just steaming to this title. And West Ham have been hit today. The old saying went out, they have been hit by an unstoppable object. Into Haaland, good challenge there by Mavropanos, and Ward-Prowse will clear, and Chofal will bring it away down the right hand touchline. But every time that Manchester City come forward, they look so dangerous. Kudus now on halfway, loses out to Rodri, and now Doku, who has really been lively. Here's the man of the moment, Phil Foden in the centre circle. West Ham will be happy enough to keep him there, I would say, but he can still do some damage, even if he's not shooting. Here's De Bruyne, out to Doku, left hand side. Vladimir Chofal is going to be having nightmares with Jeremy Doku. Now back to De Bruyne, the two Belgians combining. Doku on his right foot, scoops one. Oh, nearly dropped in the far corner, took a nick on the way through for a corner kick, but my goodness, Jeremy Doku into the side today. It took a nick off Chofal's toe. Fair play to the Czech international for sticking with Doku, but he has been put into the side today. City going for a bit more of an attacking formation, dropping Mateo Kovacic, who's been brilliant recently, to the bench, and getting Doku up there with Foden and Haaland, and so far it is working like a charm. Here's Foden to take this corner, left-footed in-swinger from somebody who is going to be probably one of the first names of the team sheet for Gareth Southgate this summer. Headed away by Mavropanos. Antonio tries to get on the end of it, but it's going to come to De Bruyne, right hand side, midway inside the West Ham United half. Foden now on the right touchline. Back to Bernardo Silva. Arrows one left footed to the back post. Guardiola across Haaland. It's wide. Oh, I just thought it was 3-0. I think it was Mavropanos was back there with Haaland, and the big Norwegian just couldn't steer it home. A beautiful ball there from Bernardo Silva to Guardiola at the back post, and Haaland just couldn't get his body shape right. You would bet your house on that one. The net bulging. It was actually Ruben Diaz who was forward, the big centre half, not Guardiola, at the back post, who slid in wonderfully to cut it back across. Mavropanos was there, but that's all Haaland. He missed his lines, and it's still 2-0. Wow. Could and should have been 3, but here comes City again. They're not going to rest on the laurels. They're not going to worry about that. They know they're going to get chances. They'll score them when they come. Foden on a hat-trick, hits one from range. Areola bats it away. Emerson heads it away before Bernardo Silva can get there. Back in for Foden and Haaland. Down to ground goes Foden under challenge from Ward-Prowse. But play on, says our referee John Brooks. De Bruyne. What a game. 25 minutes gone. It's Manchester City 2, West Ham United 0, which is making anything that Arsenal do at the Emirates today null and void. There's a free kick now to Manchester City, around 30 yards out central. Foul by Thomas Soucek on Bernardo Silva, and Phil Foden's limping slightly. Let's hope that's not a real concern for City. He really stung the hands there of Alphonse Areola. French keeper won't want to be facing too many of those today. It's still Arsenal 0, Everton 0. They've played 28 minutes at the Emirates. We've played about 25 here at the Etihad. 2 Phil Foden goals, 2 wonderful Phil Foden goals are the difference here. That's Manchester City. Well, nerves, what nerves? They are just streaking away to a 4th title in a row. Foden now delivers left-footed from the free kick, away by Mavropanos, the former Arsenal man, Greek international. Guardiola wins a header above Kudus, and Doku keeps the ball in. Back with Kyle Walker now inside his own half. Certainly the City players, especially, they're feeling the heat, but if they're feeling it, what do West Ham feel like? Chasing shadows, quite literally, around the sunny Etihad Stadium pitch. Here's Rodri now. Back to Ruben Diaz, who was the man sliding out the back post to set up Erling Haaland for that wonderful chance that the Norwegians spurned, but you can bet your bottom dollar he's going to get another, and chances are he's not going to miss 2. Here's Rodri on halfway. As the late great Bill Shankly once said about Roger Hunt, when asked about Hunt in a bit of a lean spell, Shankly said he's still getting in the positions to miss those chances, and that's exactly what Erling Haaland does. Here's a Kanji midway inside the West Ham half, out to Foden, in line with the edge of the penalty area, around 25 yards from goal. Stops and is faced up by Paquetá. Kanji. Paquetá and his Hammers teammates have been stuck behind the ball. 83% possession, 9 shots to 0. Incredible. Rodri now. Foden. Akanji's getting forward, 30 yards to go. Akanji's going to hit one, and Areola saw it all the way. Good save, but Manuel Akanji even getting the shot in there. Alphonse Areola, the French international keeper, hoping to go to the Euros with his country. Not usually a starter for Didier Deschamps, but a trusted squad member, that's for sure. In his green and pink goalkeeping kit today. De Bruyne now to Doku, left hand corner of the penalty area again, and Schofal's faced up against him again. De Bruyne edge of the box, gets a shot away and wide again. Just almost dropped into the corner for Kevin De Bruyne, but just wide. That gets a big round of applause around the Etihad there. He had Kudus and Soucek for company. Oh, it's a wonderful save by Areola, actually. I didn't see that the first time. That is a stunning save from Alphonse Areola. The littlest of touches off his fingertips. It's behind for a corner. What a save. Otherwise, that's 3-0. Superb there from Alphonse Areola. Here's Foden now to take this left-footed in-swinging corner. Doku is there with him short, as is Paquetá for company. Haaland lurking in the middle with intent. Foden. Left-footed delivery, and a header at the front post from Guardiola, and he slaps his own forehead out of frustration because he was unmarked at the front post but guides his header wide. City are just chance after chance here. Not sure who was marking him for West Ham, but he was free 6 yards from goal, but just couldn't divert his header into the back of the net. Pep Guardiola, who scored a double for City at Craven Cottage last week, in that 4-0 victory in West London. He'd only scored one City goal before that, and then scored two in one afternoon, and he should have had another there. Cresswell, left footer forward, looking for Antonio, but easy for Diaz and Walker to deal with. Now Bernardo Silva, right hand side, in front of his manager, just inside his own half, and he'll win a throw in. So still goalless between Arsenal and Everton at the Etihad, but regardless of what Arsenal do, as long as City keep doing what they're doing, it won't matter a jot. Now there's Doku into the penalty area. De Bruyne in space. He gets on his left foot, blocked by Chufali. Maybe had a chance to hit right footed there, De Bruyne, but decided to go on his left, and it's blocked out for a throw in. Left hand side, around 10 yards from the byline. Foden out to Rodri. Guardiola, loads of room down the left hand side. Cuts inside, back to De Bruyne on the edge of the box, back to Doku, left hand side. Good challenge from Kudus. Good defensive work there from Mohamed Kudus to win that one back. Chufal, his clearance blocks off Doku and out for a goal kick to West Ham. But my goodness, time flies when you're having fun. Half an hour gone here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 2, West Ham United 0. City are purring. Two stunning goals, both off the boot of Phil Foden. Gareth Southgate will be smiling looking at that one. Ahead of the Euros next month. And we've just been provided with the most incredible stat of touches in the opposition box. West Ham 0, Manchester City 25. Well, that just about sums up the afternoon so far. An afternoon that had the potential to be nervous, had the potential for us to be leafing through all the permutations of this title race that Arsenal have done so well to take to the last day. But Manchester City, a well-oiled machine as they are just striving on towards the title. Haaland's in behind. Areola gets a touch and enough to put it wide. Alphonse Areola, another wonderful save. He got a touch. The ball kept trundling goal bound, but Haaland was offside anyway, as it turns out. But Areola didn't know that. Good save. Ooh, just, if at all, gets the wrong side of Kurt Zuma. And Alphonse Areola just got a touch enough to see it dribble by his post anyway. But a free kick to West Ham, and Manchester City, with their chest emblazoned with the gold patch of the FIFA Club World Cup winners that they won back in December. And they're looking for part one of a domestic double ahead of next weekend's FA Cup final, a rerun of last year's, another Manchester derby in the final at Wembley. There'll be another convergence of Manchester from the edge of the box. Just not really panning out. Looking for Cresswell, but Walker rises above and wins the header. Brought down by Ward-Prowse and Paquetá, still inside their own half. West Ham, and Paquetá's pass is deflected to Foden. Now Rodri. Haaland 25 yards from goal. De Bruyne approaching the penalty area. Through it again, looking for Haaland, well read by Mavropanos. Kudus gets in there ahead of Foden. West Ham can't clear, and eventually it'll come to Cresswell in the left hand corner of his own penalty area. Emerson. Back to Ward-Prowse. He's a bit of space now, just outside his own penalty area. Now Souček. Right to his Czech international teammate, Chufal. Just done halfway now, right on the right hand touchline. Back to Mavropanos. Out to play into the stands on the left hand side. First time we've seen City's German keeper in action today. He comes out of his box to slide that one away from the on-rushing Mikel Antonio. Throw in is given away by West Ham, and City are back in possession again. Of course they are. It's Rodri now. Akanji in the centre circle. The sunshine on the far side getting smaller and smaller, but here's Doku in it now on the outside, on the left hand side. And he's brought to ground there by Mohamed Kudus, who concedes a free kick despite his protestations. Here's Rodri, midway inside the West Ham half to Foden. Walker out to Bernardo Silva on the right touchline, midway inside the West Ham half still. Now back in field laterally to Kyle Walker. Rodri, De Bruyne, Silva unloads the room outside him, he uses him. Cresswell comes over to close the space down, but Bernardo Silva's in the right hand corner of the penalty area. De Bruyne, lovely flick from Foden back to De Bruyne, who stumbles but gets it to Bernardo Silva, right hand side on the edge of the box. Foden, Rodri goes to curl one and Areola holds it, and he had to because Haaland was lurking and he dropped that one. That was 3-0, but another good save from Alphonse Areola. City are just really are purring here, and you're just waiting for that third goal to come. Elsewhere in the Premier League it's, well, it's just gone at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Everton 1. And, well, this title is looking more and more like it's going to be going to the Etihad. A day that promised so much for Arsenal is just going completely wrong. Here's Emerson now to Paquetá. Soucek out onto the left touchline for Cresswell, inside the City half. Diagonal ball looking for Kudus, finds him well. Good touch from Kudus in the right corner of the penalty area. Faced up with Guardiola. He cuts in field onto his left foot, now onto his right. Shoots, Ortega saves and away, and it's Walker prevents the corner. Good save by Stefan Ortega. Called into action there. And the long ball forward is out of play for a throw into West Ham midway inside their own half. Good effort from Mohamed Kudus. First time that Stefan Ortega has been called into action, but the German makes an excellent save. So as I said, it's Arsenal 0, Everton 1. So it's all going horribly wrong at the Emirates. Brentford 0, Newcastle 3, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, Burnley 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 1, Bournemouth 0, Palace 2, Aston Villa 0, Liverpool 2, Wolves 0, 10-man Wolves in Jurgen Klopp's last home game. Looks like they're going to go out in style. Luton 0, Fulham 0, and Sheffield United 0, Tottenham 1. All those games approaching half-time. We've played 38 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. It's Manchester City 2, West Ham United 0. City doing their job and then some, and Everton are also doing them a little favour too. It's Arsenal 0, Everton 1 at the Emirates. Now here's Rodri in the centre circle to Akanji. Everything pointing that there's going to be another title celebration on this pitch just after 6 o'clock this evening. Here's De Bruyne to Foden. And that's with Akanji in the centre circle, and I think word is starting to filter around the Etihad that Arsenal are behind. One of those little ripples. Gone are the days of transistor radios, of course, going around the stadium. Let's hope they're using flash score to get their scores here. Here's Akanji now midway inside the West Ham half. Rodri. Akanji around 30 yards from goal, just striding forward. Scoops one out to the left touchline for Doku. Unusually poor touch, but he keeps it in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. Goes back to Guardiola. Guardiola comes inside, but he fancies another goal after his double at Craven Cottage last weekend. Now Bernardo Silva, right hand corner of the penalty area, left foot. De Bruyne now. Back to Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne. City going backwards but keeping the ball. Kanji and Mikel Antonio cutting a very lonely and frustrated figure up there. Here's Guardiola to Doku. Doku gets to the byline, crosses to the back post, and it's gone over the top of everybody. And Bernardo Silva keeps it in on the right hand touchline. Silva left footed pass along the edge of the box to Foden. Guardiola, West Ham not giving Foden a chance to shoot this time. They've learned their lesson, but City still have it. Akanji now around 30 yards from goal central. De Bruyne. A lovely flick from Foden. Guardiola looking for Haaland, and Foden went to ground there. He collided with Thomas Soucek, but nothing doing, says John Brooks, the referee, and the ball's in the gloves of Alphonse Areola, who has had plenty of catching and shot stopping practice this afternoon. He really has been busy. Soucek to Choufal. This is the West Ham side who, regardless of results today, will have finished ninth. As I say, David Moyes, his last game in charge of the Hammers after coming back in December 2019 after his initial contract ran out. He replaced a former Manchester City manager at West Ham in Manuel Pellegrini, kept them up that season, and has then taken them on stride to stride. There won't be any European football next season for his successor Julian Lopetegui, but he has had West Ham in Europe the past 3 years. Europa League quarter-finalists this year. Last year, of course, Europa Conference League winners. The season before that, Europa League semi-finalists. Wonderful from David Moyes. And here's Choufal to the back post where Emerson was lurking, but Kyle Walker turns it behind. First corner of the afternoon for West Ham. Good ball from Choufal, but Walker dealt with it well. That win last week over Luton did snap a 4-match winless run for the Hammers. City defeated them 3-1 at the London Stadium way back in September. And all of a sudden, Manchester City maybe just won't have things all their own way this afternoon. That is absolutely stunning from Kudus. We have been treated to 3 marvellous first half goals here, and that might just be the best of the lot of them, technically anyway. And it's 2-1 all of a sudden. City maybe not just going to run away. Looking for the high boot on Josko Gvardiol from Kudus, but if that's been given for that, that'll be very, very harsh. And John Brooks is getting some instructions in his ear, and the instruction is that I think that the goal stands. It does. Erling Haaland gets us back underway, so a brief VAR check confirms that Mohamed Kudus' goal is good. It's more than good, it's a stunner from the Ghanaian. An overhead kick from 8 yards out, and West Ham have halved the deficit all of a sudden. As we approach half time, it's Manchester City 2, West Ham 1. And Arsenal have equalised at the Emirates. So, all of a sudden, a couple of goals there maybe might jangle a nerve or two, but City's still more than doing enough. Initially it's Soucek and Mavropanos that go up for the header at the back post with Bernardo Silva and Josko Gvardiol, and when the ball is bobbling around, it drops for Mohamed Kudus, who has the most outrageous overhead kick high into the roof of the net. And all of a sudden, that ripple a moment ago that was when the score was 2-0 here and 1-0 Everton at the Emirates, all of a sudden it's 2-1 here and 1-1 at the Emirates. But had you offered City fans to be up by a goal and Arsenal to be drawing at half time, I'm sure they would have taken it. We're now going to see what added time referee John Brooks will add here, as the clock now ticks into 45. City are still 4 clear at the top as it stands. We're none the wiser as to added time here. Kyle Walker has the ball in the centre circle. De Bruyne Now Rodri, midway inside West Ham half. 4 minutes added on. We've played 30 seconds of that now. Ball out on the left flank for Jeremy Doku. Doku to Akanji. Back to Doku. Left hand side. Takes on Shufal. Gets to the byline. Cuts it back for Haaland over the top. Well, another miss Erling Haaland. This one would be not quite as glaring as his one earlier. As good movement to get in the end of Doku's cut back, but he just couldn't keep his shot down. And Doku is really causing West Ham all sorts of trouble. Haaland get in there in front of Kurt Zouma, but just flicked his shot over the top with his left foot. It's close though. Actually hit the stanchion on the roof of the net. That's how close it was. But over the top regardless from the big Norwegian. Long goal kick. Still 15 shots to 2 in favour of Man City. One of those shots over West Ham. A stunning overhead kick from Mohamed Kudus. Areola looks to find Kudus on the right flank, but was out for a throw in. City midway inside their own half, which Guardiola will toss to Akanji, and now he goes lateral to his centre half partner Diaz. Back to Akanji in the sunshine as the pitch split up the middle from end to end in sunshine. But all of a sudden I think the shade is just about beating out the sun, maybe by, if not 60-40, maybe 55-45, as Chufal can't believe he's been penalised there for a challenge on Doku on halfway on the City left, as we're now about 50%, while we're talking percentages, 50% of the way through first half stoppage time here at the Etihad. Again at City lead 2-1. Phil Foden scoring after less than 90 seconds, a stunning goal to give him the lead. Then just after the 15-minute mark he swept home Doku's cut back for 2, and it looked like City were going to have things all their own way, and it was just a matter of how much they would score. But Mohamed Kudus from West Ham's only corner has scored a stunning overhead kick to have the deficit here. That really means that the half-time refreshments might be a little bit nervier than what they might have been before. And here come West Ham. They're going to actually give it another go before the break. Kudus, and he's bobbing and bouncing off City defenders Rodri, Guardiola and Doku. All tried to stop him, but he still has it. Paquetá. Lovely flick from Paquetá to Soucek, midway inside the City half. Now left to Cresswell, who doesn't bring the ball with him, but retrieves it now and looks for his options. One of them is Paquetá. He uses them infield. Back to Zouma. And Ward-Prowse in the centre circle. He pings one out to the right touchline. Chufal in line with the edge of the 18-yard box. Gets across in. That went behind Guardiola, but Akanji got there before Antonio could and bashes it out of play for a throw-in. Oof, that was close. Josko Guardiola, I think, lost his footing there at the worst moment possible. It was bailed out by Akanji. There's a long ball in looking for Emerson, but Ortega takes it and then bowls it underarm to Bernardo Silva, because it was Emerson who was arriving at the back post. Now he's out of position, but we've got about 20 seconds or so left of the 4 added on, unless John Brooks decides we need more. Rodri in the centre circle, clips one through the middle for Foden, going too long. Areola comes out, and I would imagine that will be pretty much the last play of a thoroughly entertaining first half here, where Manchester City lead by 2-1. A Phil Foden double, the first of which came after less than 90 seconds, the second after 15 minutes. But Mohamed Kudus has just given City a bit of a wake-up call around 5 minutes before the break with a stunning overhead kick, as Areola will send it long up the pitch, and John Brooks says that's half-time. Join me for the second half. The title, City have one hand on it. It's not over yet. West Ham will make them work for it, but Phil Foden's double minus Mohamed Kudus' overhead kick means it's a half-time. It's Manchester City 2, West Ham United 1. Don't go anywhere. Join me shortly. The last 45 minutes of the 2023-24 Premier League season. bit long up the pitch, and John Brooks says that's half time. Join me for the second half. The title, City have one hand on it. It's not over yet. West Ham will make them work for it, but Phil Foden's double minus Mohamed Kudus' overhead kick. title. Well, Manchester City have one hand on the trophy here. They lead West Ham as Mikel Antonio kicks off for the Hammers this start of the second half by 2-1. Two Phil Foden goals in the first half, the first of which came after less than 90 seconds. A beautiful strike from the edge of the box. The second on 18 minutes after sweeping home Jeremy Doku's cutback. But Mohamed Kudus' stunning overhead kick right on the stroke of half time has halved City's lead and maybe added to a few nerves. But when you look at Arsenal, who are drawing 1-1 at home to Everton, having been 1-0 down, if you'd have told City fans that they'd be a goal up and Arsenal would be drawing at half time, I think they would have bit your arm off for that. And Manchester City are like a well-oiled machine. They know how to win these titles. They'll navigate minor setbacks like that Kudus goal. And let's see, are we in for any drama in this second half? Or will Manchester City march on to a fourth title in a row? Here's Guardiola. I'll get those teams for you in a second. Doku, left hand side. Doku looking for Foden. Guardiola leaves it off, but Souček intercepts. So for City, in goal, Stefan Ortega. Across the back, Kyle Walker, Ruben Diaz, Manuel Akanji, Josko Guardiola. Midfield three of Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, with the double goal scorer Foden and Doku in support of Erling Haaland up front, who missed a pretty big chance at 2-0 to go 3-0 up, not like him. For West Ham then, no changes at the break. They've got Alphonse Areola in goal. Across the back three then of Kurt Zouma, Kostas Mavropanos and Ryan Cresswell. Vladimir Čufal and Emerson as wing-backs, James Ward-Prowse and Thomas Souček in the middle, with Lucas Paquetá, goal scorer Kudus and Mikel Antonio as the front three. David Moyes now into his last 45 minutes. There's West Ham managers, we're going to say as a Premier League manager, but we wouldn't rule it out. They might have different changes. Of course, Jurgen Klopp heading out, Arne Slot coming in. Arne Slot said goodbye to the Feyenoord fans earlier on today, finishing second in the Dutch Eredivisie. Well, Jurgen Klopp was into his final 45 minutes here as Liverpool manager. Roberto De Zerbi announced yesterday out of the blue, it was announced at today's game, into West Ham hot seat next season. West Ham will be finishing ninth today regardless of the score, and will have finished top half in 3 of the last 4 seasons, Europe in the last 3 years, including runs to the Europa League semi-finals, quarter-finals and of course that Conference League final victory. Now here is De Bruyne, right hand corner of the penalty area. Cuts back to Rodri, onto his right. Silva, Rodri, now Foden. Foden's got space, Haaland down the edge of the box, Erling Haaland dancing through, looking for Foden, good interception, comes to De Bruyne, a right-footed shot, swiped wide. 4 minutes in, first chance of the second half of City, it falls to Kevin De Bruyne, and this shot from the edge of the box just goes wide. Haaland trying to dance his way through, but the outstretched right foot of Kostas Mavropanos got in between he and Phil Foden, and the ball broke for De Bruyne. He just side-footed it wide. And here's Alphonse Areola, all in green with the pink trim on his shirt. He had plenty to do in that first half and made some cracking saves. Nothing he could do about either goal. The credit goes to the French goalkeeper. Now here's Doku right in front of David Moyes down the West Ham bench. Ball played forward looking for Antonio, but Rodri gets in the way, and then Souček beats Haaland in the air. Kudus now midway inside the City half, spinning and bouncing off it like a pinball, but Doku wins it back off of him now. He stretches his legs, he's so fast. Jeremy Doku, Mavropanos slipped, but it actually worked in his favour. It was like a slide tackle. That was fortunate for Kostas Mavropanos, but West Ham have it back now, and it's back at the feet of Areola on the 6-yard line. He clips one forward there. Lovely touch from Walker, but he's under pressure from Emerson, but here's Foden now, unleashes another shot, and wide, and just like they did a lot of times in the first half, City peppering Areola's goal with shots, but that one from Foden just dipping, but dipped wide. Areola I think had it covered anyway, but Phil Foden on a hat-trick, scored 2 sumptuous goals already as he... Here's Kudus, Savani scored that stunning goal. Antonio now out on the right wing, faced up by Akanji, and his pass looking for Paquetá, as well read by Guardiola, and he storms out of defence midway inside his own half. De Bruyne passes slightly behind Kyle Walker, who's out in the sunshine, the City captain on the right flank, midway inside his own half now. De Bruyne back to Rodri. And that's out on the right hand touchline for Bernardo Silva. servant he's been to Manchester City. Walker, loads of room. Plays it back out into the right touchline for Bernardo Silva, right hand corner of the penalty area. De Bruyne back to Walker, who's still out there on the right. De Bruyne. Guardiola. He's got a chance to shoot, but instead he will roll it laterally to Rodri. City playing around 25 to 30 yards from goal, now approaching the penalty area. Rodri sprays it out left to Doku, who's all the way into the left corner to get that, and there is Vladimir Šufal gainfully following Doku and gainfully making a good tackle, and didn't quite catch whether that was a corner or a throw-in. Looks as though it's going to be a throw-in to Manchester City. Vladimir Šufal, fair play to him, he's had a great game. It's actually going to be a corner, just actually did go the other side of the flag, so first corner of the second half for City is going to be a left or right swinger from Phil Foden. There's Foden, the left-footed out swinger from him. In it comes, good header away by Cresswell, I think it was, and Kuda's volleys here on the edge of the box. Still at the Emirates, where all these games are around, give or take 10 minutes into the second half. It's Arsenal 1, Everton 1, Brentford 1, Newcastle 3, as Haaland comes forward here and wins a free kick around 30 yards from goal central. It's Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, Burnley 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 1, Crystal Palace 3, Aston Villa 0, Liverpool 2, 10-man Wolves 0, Luton 2, Fulham 3. That game's come out of nowhere to be a real cracker. And Sheffield United 0, Tottenham 1 on this final day of the Premier League, where the title looks to be heading to the blue half of Manchester. For the first time ever in English football history, a team will have won 4 top tier titles in a row, not just Premier League, but in football history. So now Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne and Kyle Walker all leave Phil Foden to it. He's going to clip one in here, good header away by Mavropanos. Back out to Bernardo Silva, to Foden now 30 yards from goal. Spreads it out to Doku on the left, lovely touch from the Belgian, faced up again by Šufal. Cuts inside him and Paquetá. Now Rodri, 30 yards from goal, central. Lateral pass about 5 yards to De Bruyne. And he's back again to Walker, and now Akanji. Rodri to Walker. 10 minutes gone in the second half here at the Etihad Stadium. Still Manchester City, the Champions-elect 2, West Ham United 1. This game's not over yet. Rodri over the top looking for the run of Guardiola, but too long, and that's a goal kick. So opening 10 minutes of the half, Pep Guardiola looking slightly frustrated. They haven't quite been as, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, maybe just as clinical, as accurate as they usually are. Look at the City fans in the crowd looking nervous, as you would be until the job's done. Massive credit must go to Arsenal, regardless of what happens today, for pushing Pep Guardiola's men right to the brink this season. A wonderful season, Mikel Arteta's side, but he must be cursing his luck again if they are to come second. De Bruyne's just robbed Šufal on the edge of the box here. Kevin De Bruyne, shot deflect, an eye socket at Tottenham on Tuesday night. That collision with Pedro Porro means he misses today and the cup final, although likelihood is Ortega would have played the cup final anyway. He's Guardiola's cup goalkeeper, so a very able deputy. Here's Rodri to Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne, right hand side of the penalty area, cuts it back on in between the leg of Ward-Prowse, but couldn't find Foden, and gets sent out for a throw-in on the right hand side around 15 yards from the byline. So City probing, but so far in this second half, 13 minutes gone in it, West Ham remaining firm. De Bruyne to Foden, now Rodri, Guardiola, Rodri. This is done by Rodri. Now Walker was lining up a shot there, but West Ham lining up a claret and blue wall in front of him. Now Guardiola, central around 30 yards from goal, socks around the shins for the Croatian international. Now Walker again dummies the shot, but plays it to Bernardo Silva, right hand corner of the penalty area, faced up by Emerson. Rodri, Antonio's man on, Foden back to Guardiola. Now it's with Akanji midway inside the West Ham half, and City are just rolling the rock around here. It's Akanji. Excuse me, Akanji now to Diaz. Walker. Right hand corner of the penalty area for Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne stays on side. Can he keep it in at the byline? He can. He's in the right hand corner. Diaz to Rodri. West Ham are really making this difficult. City can't penetrate just yet, but they'll be patient. Walker to De Bruyne, right hand side of the penalty area. He comes into the penalty area. Bernardo Silva has space now. To Rodri on the edge of the box, and it's in! I told you they'd be patient. And it's Rodri who squeezes a shot under the gloves of Alphonse Areola and opens up City's 2-goal lead again just before the hour mark. And what a crucial goal that could be. Patience personified. Manchester City. West Ham with the 2 banks of 4 in front of Areola, but Rodri, a little bit of space. He unleashes a right-footed shot that, for all the great saves Areola has made, he'll probably think he should have done better with, but it squeezes under his hands and nestles in the bottom corner. And just before the hour mark on 59 minutes, it's Manchester City 3, West Ham United 1, and that one hand on the title is slowly becoming 2. A lovely strike from Rodri from the edge of the box, from Bernardo Silva, layback. And Areola just got a touch on it, not strong enough, and the ball nestles in the corner, through all the bodies and into the bottom corner. And it is Manchester City 3, West Ham United 1. The 2-goal lead is restored. Pep Guardiola elated on the sideline. The Manchester City fans in the stadium are elated, and he can smell a 4th Premier League title in a row on its way. An hour gone at the Etihad. Rodri, what a player he has been all season for Manchester City. He has just been their rock in the middle of the park, and is it meant to be that he scores the goal that secures that 4th title in a row. Elsewhere in the Premier League, it's still Arsenal 1, Everton 1. Doesn't matter now though if City are doing this. Brentford 1, Newcastle 3, Brighton 0, Manchester United 0, Burnley 0, Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 1. It's now Crystal Palace 4, Aston Villa 0. What a finish the season they've had at Palace, although Villa are already celebrating champions. Very well. Luton 2, Fulham 3, and it's now Sheffield United 0, Tottenham 2. So the Premier League title as it stands, Manchester City are 4 clear of Arsenal. They're on 91, Arsenal on 87. The only 2 places that have changed, well actually there's a couple of places that have changed. Palace, if they stay as it is, will actually finish in the top half. Will be finished 3 points behind West Ham, finished 10th. What a finish the season they've had under Oliver Glasner. Even better if Brighton continue drawing 0-0 with Manchester United, they'll finish above them, and they'll move above Bournemouth, who dropped down into 12th. Fulham have also overtaken Wolves into 13th. And it's, well, as everyone thought, it's Luton, Burnley and Sheffield United to go down. There's Guardiola now. Rodri in the centre circle. He'll clip it out under the right hand touchline for Bernardo Silva. He takes it down his chest. Walker. Rodri. Akanji in the centre circle, about maybe over 3/4 of the pitch now in shade, but the ball's now out into the sunshine on the right hand side. That stand on the far side still very much bathed in sunshine. The fans there in sunglasses and shielding their eyes. Here's Akanji midway inside his own half, but let me tell you, those fans will do that all day long if it means being in this ground after 6 o'clock this evening when Manchester City looked like they're going to be crowned champions. Now here's Bernardo Silva. Oh, lovely over up and run from De Bruyne. He cuts it back. Soucek got there before Foden, who is hunting for that hat-trick. Akanji. Almost a short pass there from Foden to Diaz to Antonio in. We've played 65 minutes now at the Etihad Stadium. It is Manchester City 3, West Ham 1. Here's Doku, left hand corner of the box. Back to De Bruyne. Oh, lovely into Foden, left hand side of the penalty. Cuts it back for Haaland, blocked by Zuma. He'll spin away towards the corner and Doku will let it run for a corner. A wry smile from Erling Haaland. He wants his goal today. He's missed a couple of chances and then had that one blocked well by Kurt Zuma. Areola fell over behind. Zuma was waiting for the shot. Didn't really come his way anyway. Here's De Bruyne. City's 5th corner of the day to West Ham's 1. West Ham scored off their 1 corner, as we knew earlier. De Bruyne, right-footed in swinger, is a good one. Areola punches, and Haaland tried to get up there at the back post and just evaded him. I think Areola got a touch on it on the way through. Let's see. Actually, it come off Ruben Diaz's head. I think that should be a goal kick to West Ham, but as it is, it's a corner to Manchester City, as Haaland couldn't turn it in at the back post. It's now waiting on this corner. 67 gone at the Etihad. And comes a left-footed in swinger, and Areola right underneath his own crossbar, with Diaz for company, had to palm it over for another corner kick. As the Poznan does the rounds around the Etihad here. Maybe another corner on 67 minutes. No stirring from either bench so far. Neither David Moyes nor Pep Guardiola. De Bruyne, right-footed in swinger, and nearly went straight in. Another corner. Thomas Soucek at the back post, nearly again underneath his own crossbar, heading away with Haaland lurking. What a delivery that is. And what a crucial header from Thomas Soucek, because Erling Haaland was right there to nod it in at the back post, if not. Another corner from the other side. It's going to be Foden to deliver, left-footed in swinger. Here it comes, header away this time by Zuma, a lot less dramatic, headed back in by De Bruyne, flicked on by Guardiola. Haaland takes it on his chest. Akanji is the furthest man forward, lays it off for Haaland, blocked. Akanji over and did allow. I don't know, I think John Brooks, yeah, he's been told to play on. Left footed pass is blocked out of play by Phil Foden, who got this space rocking early. A stunning strike from the edge of the box after less than 90 seconds that dissipated any nerves. He got a second in 18 minutes. And Mohamed Kudus with a stunning overhead kick to bring it back to within 1, but Rodri has got a third in the second half. That means City are on their way. There's a sub here for City, as saying the first one of the game. Nathan Ake is on for Manuel Akanji. And for West Ham, Edson Alvarez is on for Emerson. So 70 minutes, that's our first subs, 1 for each team. So Alvarez for Emerson for West Ham, and Ake for Akanji for Manchester City. Throw in deep in their own half from West Ham. Zuma clears left-footed down the left flank. Walker wins the header, but only diverts it into Kudus, and he's robbed by Rodri, and De Bruyne brought down by Soucek midway inside the City half. Not a dirty game by any stretch. No cards at all produced after 71 minutes by John Brooks. Free kick taken short. An uncharacteristically loose pass there. There's Ake with his first touch. He'll roll it back to Ortega. Now Diaz. So it looks like, although Ake has played a bit at left back, he and Guardiola are both quite happy both to play centre half or left back. It looks like it's just going to be a straight swap, and Ake goes into centre half alongside Diaz, where Akanji stood. Here's Haaland on halfway, back to Rodri. Diaz to De Bruyne and Ake. Foden to Guardiola. It's clipped forward by Diaz down the left touchline to Doku, who's had an excellent game. Shrugs off Kudus, still going here. Doku overhits it to Foden. Alvarez brings Foden down, and Edson Alvarez won the ball initially, but then just got the wrong side of Phil Foden. It's a free kick to City here, around 25 yards from goal. It's left of centre, certainly within shooting range. They've got De Bruyne and Foden over the top of it. Let's see. Party atmosphere around the Etihad is starting to ramp up here as we approach the last 15 minutes of this game, and the last 15 minutes of the 2020. A good effort though from the England international. And speaking of England, the Euros less than a month away. There's still a few domestic games, particularly the European finals and next Saturday's FA Cup final to go for you here on Flash Score UK. But just a heads up towards those Euros, we will have coverage of all the Euros games plus selected games from the Copa America this summer. It's going to be a wonderful summer of football, and you can keep abreast of it all here on Flash Score UK as always. Here's Kudus now, coming down the right hand touchline, squeezes in between Guardiola and Rodri, and he's still going. He's been excellent for West Ham. Stunning goal included, Mohamed Kudus. That's back with Mavropanos. Alvarez, former Ajax man, and Kudus, both former Ajax men. Here's Alvarez, finds Kudus, right hand touchline, approaching the edge of the penalty area. Kudus, left footed delivery into the back post where Mikel Antonio was out there with Kyle Walker. Did he keep it in? I think he did. He did, but only given away to Bernardo Silva. He plays a 1-2 with De Bruyne. Now he's over halfway. Bernardo Silva has Haaland in front of him. Doku to his left, trying to go alone. Bernardo Silva, and he wins a free kick. A combination of Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse, and it's actually the Mexican who gets booked. He's been on the pitch 5 minutes. And Edson Alvarez has already committed a couple of fouls, and for that one on Bernardo Silva he gets booked. It's a silly one because Bernardo Silva is outnumbered. In actual fact, Alvarez does win the ball with his left foot, but catches Silva with his right, and the substitute only on the pitch 5 minutes. He's the first man to go into John Brooks' book. Easy for me to say this afternoon. Here's Bernardo Silva now from the free kick. De Bruyne, right hand side of the penalty area. Could they add another one just because? De Bruyne now to Walker. Foden. Back to Guardiola, midway inside the West Ham half. Walker out on the right touchline, Bernardo Silva. Rodri. Now we're back here with Ruben Diaz, midway inside the City half, as they're cruising in to title 4 in a row. So look elsewhere at the minute. It's Arsenal, still Arsenal 1, Everton 1. So regardless of what City do here, if Arsenal don't win that, then it's curtains for them. Last 10 minutes also, not just Jurgen Klopp, it's the last 10 minutes of David Moyes' reign as West Ham manager. I've touched on it already today, but what a wonderfully successful period he's had in East London. Debate will rage all summer and probably even more longer after that, particularly if his replacement Julian Lopetegui doesn't hit the ground running next season. Debate will rage whether it was the right decision or not. We still don't know if it was all his decision or his decision at all, but the Scottish manager, one of the all-time great Premier League managers, is on his way out of West Ham. Could he land himself another job before next season? That's absolutely feasible. Might end up at Brighton. But anyway, here's Rodri. To Walker, right hand side now. Bernardo Silva in line with the edge, 18-yard box. Guardiola to Walker, now midway inside the West Ham half. It's Bernardo Silva who scoops it inside to Rodri, back to Walker without Emerson. Back to Ward-Prowse, he's a bit of space now, just outside his own penalty area. Now Soucek. The sunshine still shines around the Etihad. Here's Haaland. Was he onside? He is, says the linesman. No, late flag. Haaland's offside as we hit 80 minutes, but it's a sunny late afternoon, early evening here at the Etihad Stadium, much like it was on the final day of the season 12 years ago, whenever a certain Sergio Aguero did his thing. That's the only time the Premier League title has ever been decided on goal difference. It was a possibility coming into today. Manchester City have made sure it's not. There's a West Ham sub now on 81 minutes. Mikel Antonio was off, and the youngster George Earthy, who scored on his West Ham debut last week off the bench in the 3-1 win over Luton. He will finish the game up front for the last 9 minutes or so. And here's Chufal on the right hand side, midway inside the City half. Soucek immediately looking over the top for Earthy, but well dealt with there by Bernardo Silva, actually back doing some defensive work. Walker. Now to Ake. Just midway inside his own half. 1-2 with Pep Guardiola. Two men who'll be at the Euros this summer, you would imagine, for their respective countries, as will Kyle Walker, as will probably Bernardo Silva. You could run through this whole City team and say what they'll be playing for their countries this summer. Here's Guardiola in the centre circle. Now out left to Doku, left hand corner of the penalty area. Chufal's with him again. Doku's running in. Doku on his right, and it takes a nick, and it's behind for another City corner. Jeremy Doku slightly less influential in this second half, but he's been an excellent inclusion today from Pep Guardiola. One of those two changes, the other being Ortega, of course, in for Ederson, but it's been excellent. As I said, accused often of being blowing hot and cold, Jeremy Doku, but he's been blowing hot today, that's for sure. Set up that second for Phil Foden. And now Kevin De Bruyne will take this corner. The bodies in around Alphonse Areola. You've seen the corner so far, they're all in on top of him. And another one, Areola flaps it away. Doku left hand side, lovely flick away from Chufal. And Earthy with a good challenge back there. And now here's Kudus. And Soucek away. De Bruyne, left hand side, in line with the edge, the 18-yard box. And it looked like a foul by Paquetá in the corner. It is indeed, it will be a free kick to City that is, well, basically a corner. It's right in the corner there. Paquetá not happy with the call, but he still gives a hug to Kevin De Bruyne and helps him to his feet. And City will take this free kick. We can see Ruben Diaz and Nathan Ake coming forward. Manchester City are 7 minutes plus stoppage time away from the title. Any drama that there was there today was dispelled early by Phil Foden. West Ham have made it interesting briefly, and then a third from Rodri on the hour mark has killed this game off. In comes De Bruyne's cross and flicked just wide by Erling Haaland, and he maybe isn't going to get his goal today. He has tried and tried, but try as he might, he hasn't been able to finish. But chances are it will matter not. It's good delivery, got up in between Cresswell and Mavropanos. When you see it again, actually, it sort of hit the shoulder blades at the top of his back as opposed to his head. Not the cleanest of contact from the big Norwegian, and it just flicked on wide. Areola with a long goal kick. Overruns it a bit, runs into Soucek, and Zuma will clear. And now Kudus is robbed by Doku. Soucek goes to ground under challenge by Doku, and that's a free kick to West Ham, just on the edge of their own penalty area. That was lovely play from the tricky Belgian winger. Get his way through there. Pep Guardiola not looking too happy. That's something. Not quite sure what, but we're going to see an introduction of Danny Ings here for Lucas Paquetá for the last 4 minutes plus stoppage time. Have we seen as Ings trots on for the last 4 minutes? Will we see Paquetá back here next season in Sky Blue? We shall see. So we're just getting another look here at that incredible early opener for Phil Foden. And just the burst and explosion of emotion from both him and the City fans. His second on 18 minutes was neatly swept home from Doku's cutback. Mohamed Kudus with a stunning overhead kick brought it back to 2-1, but then Rodri just after the hour squeezing a low hard shot into the corner that may well have just clinched the 4 in a row for City. Here's Alvarez, earthy, now Kudus, right hand side, gets to the byline, Mohamed Kudus, got it back, deflection. I'm going to make it interesting right to the end. Not sure how much he knew about that Thomas Soucek. I think it was a header initially and he deflected it in, but with 2.5 minutes of the 90 to go, it's Manchester City 3, West Ham United 2, and West Ham are going to keep on kicking right until the end. It was initially, I think that's going to be disallowed. Any wonder Thomas Soucek looks so sheepish. It was Kostas Mavropanos' header that struck the arm of Soucek and went in, and I think we're going to see that one disallowed. Meanwhile at the Emirates it's Arsenal 2, Everton 1, and indeed the goal is disallowed, much to the relief, because that 2-goal cushion is still very much welcome with Arsenal taking a late lead over Everton. But yeah, I wonder why Thomas Soucek looks so sheepish. He's not complaining at all. Mavropanos' header deflected in by the hand of the Czech international. So Pep Guardiola can breathe again. We're into the last 90 seconds of the 90 minutes here at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City moments away from a 4th title in a row. And with Arsenal now winning at the Emirates, it doesn't really matter if they win or not, but as long as City can hold this 2-goal lead going to stoppage time, as Phil Foden has been floored there, I think, by Kostas Mavropanos, just inside the West Ham half. He's down his holdings at the small of his back. And let's hope for City's sake and England's sake that's not going to be too serious an issue for him. As we are into the last few seconds of the 90, we shall see very shortly what sort of added time we're going to have here at the Etihad Stadium. But the party has already started in the stands. The champions' scarves and flags are out again. And for the most part, Manchester City have looked wonderful today. They've looked like champions-elect. They're going to go in to win the league with 9 wins in a row. Mateo Kovacic is going to come on here, I would assume, for Phil Foden. Yep, it's the number 47 that goes up on the board. A wonderful afternoon from Foden. The local lad has scored the 2 goals that look to have sent his team towards the title. He gets a round of applause from Noel Gallagher. Somehow it's taken 90 minutes for the cameraman here to find Noel Gallagher, but he's in the stand enjoying that one as Foden still holding the small of his back there as he goes up to the dugout. Of City and England will hope that's not a major issue as Erling Haaland throws the ball back to the West Ham players. We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time here, 30 seconds into it, and 4.5 minutes for City until they can fully celebrate another incredible season here in the blue half of Manchester, finishing the season 23 unbeaten in a row, 9 wins in a row. This has just been another dominant season from Manchester City. Arsenal, to their massive credit, this year have pushed them the entire way, but City winning, well, only losing 3 games all year. Just incredible. Elsewhere, Arsenal Everton in the dying stage is still 2-1 to Arsenal. Brentford Newcastle, 96 gone there. Brentford 2, Newcastle 4. Manchester United have come away from Brighton with a 2-0 win. That's over. Nottingham Forest have won 2-1 at Burnley. Almost finished Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 1. Crystal Palace 5, Aston Villa 0. Liverpool 2, Wolves 0 in Jurgen Klopp's send-off. Luton Fulham has just gone full time. Luton 2, Fulham 4, and Sheffield United 0, Tottenham 3. All of those are either finished or just about to finish, but we are about in sweeping home Jeremy for a minute of the 5 to go. Edson Alvarez sprays it out right for Kudus. Good touch on his chest, but Guardiola nods it away, and our City go to try and get another. They're just happy to keep it. There's Kovacic, the 2 Croatians together. Back to Ake on the edge of the box. Spreads it out right to Bernardo Silva, who just has an incredible engine and up and down that right flank all day today. Hasn't stopped. Walker. Back to Diaz on the edge of the box. 40 seconds to go here. Back to Ortega. Now Ake inside his own penalty area. Send it long, left-footed, the Dutch international. One for Kovacic to chase, but he's pushed Thomas Soucek in doing so. So it's a free kick to West Ham just inside their own half. We see a little bit of homemade artwork there of 4 Premier League trophies being drawn. And now we're seconds away. Well, actually, some Manchester City fans are already on the pitch. My goodness me, I said, would there be a pitch invasion? They've already clambered over the advertising hoardings. The Manchester City players are furious with their fans, telling them to get off the pitch. We're over the 5 minutes now. This is going to delay it. Ridiculous scenes here at the Etihad. Unfortunately, as Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne, Kyle Walker, Josko Gvardiol tells all the fans to get back angrily, that's not what you want when your own players are having to tell you get off the pitch. Erling Haaland has come back there. Everybody telling them to go off the... Well, they're not on the pitch anymore, but they're around the perimeter of it. So as soon as this full-time whistle goes from John Brooks, the players are on the pitch. I would say, well, the fans are on the pitch. I would say the players will try to get off the pitch pretty quickly. Kostas Mavropanos is going to send him this free kick long for West Ham. Still time to take it. Up it goes. Soucek flicks it on. Ake clears, and that's the full-time whistle. History for Manchester City. It's 4 in a row for Pep Guardiola's men. The fans are on the pitch and the players are straight down the tunnel. That's unfortunate that has to happen, but so it is now with modern football. The pitch invasion is a big part of the celebrations. The City players will be back to celebrate very soon, as they are the 2023-24 Premier League champions. 4 in a row. History made by Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. I've been Mark Strange today for Flash Score UK. A privilege and honour to bring you this big game. It is finished at the Etihad Stadium. Manchester City 3, West Ham United 1. Manchester City are champions.